Hello, my friends. This is Andy Falco Jimenez. I'm coming to you live from Yorba Linda, California. I got a friend with me right here, Gary. No, it's not. It doesn't look like Hetty at all.
Yeah, no,
Hetty, what happened?
Not Hetty today.
Everybody's probably used to seeing me come on with Hetty, but I'll let you know about Gary in just 1 minute. But we're going to be talking about some things that are very dear to my heart. Of course, we'll be talking about how cancer just needs to go away. We'll be talking about some wellness and about some CBD. We'll be talking about the endocannabinoid system and how we can bring your system to homeostasis, which is the best place for all your systems to be. So we'll be talking about that. If you want to know more about the endocannabinoid system, you can go to my book called Today's CBD Oil, and I talk about the endocannabinoid system forever in that book, and I do my best to explain it so that a second grader can understand what the endocannabinoid system is. So make sure, if you want to know more about that, just go to Today's CBD Oil on Amazon, and it's in Kindle form and in a print form. So you can go there and get that. And I wanted to just read this disclaimer really quick, if I can see it. It's a little blurry for some reason, but these statements have not been evaluated by the FDA. Information herein is not intended to be taken as medical advice, nor no therapeutic or medical claims are either implied or made. Do not alter any medical treatment or the use of medications without the permission of your medical care provider. FDA regulations prohibit the use of therapeutic or medical claims in conjunction with the sale of any product not approved by the FDA. But we're going to tell you what we think.
Yes, we are. Yes, we are.
So Gary Heyer, how are you of HeyerPower?
You know, I'm blessed. I'm
Yes.
blessed and happy, my friend.
I'm glad that you're here with me. And I'm going to tell you, we're going to be talking about these juices that Gary provides, some of the CBD products you provide, and you're going to talk about a fantastic water, which I also believe in. Yeah. And God brought us together for some reason. And I think that reason is to help people.
I believe so.
Not only with God helping us to give a message that he gives us to give people to help their soul, but while we're on this planet, we are healthy, keep our bodies healthy. I first want the audience to know a little bit about your story so they know where this all came from to start with.
First, I'll just say thank you for having me. Appreciate that. And I want to introduce another person that's here that just poked its head up, and that's Stomy, my little homie.
Oh,
you're going to know a little bit more about that. I just got to make this this clear, because there was one time I was going to tell you a story, you and Hetty, but I was speaking to a group of housewives from Orange County one day, shortly after my major surgery, and we'll get to the surgery part in a minute, but it makes this, my body makes this sound that I cannot control. So if it comes up and you hear some sounds that sounds like a fart, please excuse me. It's nothing that I can control.
I have 5 kids, and so I know that I've heard that sound before.
Yeah. No,
of course, not for me.
Yeah.
And for sure not Hetty.
I mean, it's totally something that nobody does, but it's something that I cannot control. So I'm just going to flow, and hopefully it doesn't stay too active. But anyway. One
more thing before, make sure, I see a lot of people watching, which is really good. Make sure and put in the comments a question you may have, or if you think what we're saying is pretty cool, then make sure and let us know. That way we know what it is you're thinking, and if we're headed in the right direction for what it is you want to learn. Because we want to educate you on what it is that Gary knows about juicing and about CBD and that kind of stuff. So I just I forgot to tell people to make sure and comment. So go ahead.
Yeah, we love being interactive. We love when people come alive and start posting in there. So anyway, I'll tell you my story. I'm 45 years old. I married my high school sweetheart. We've been together 26 years, Amy, and married for now 16. We got a 14-year-old daughter, Aubrey, who is in 8th grade at Yorba Linda Middle School, and doing well in leadership and serving at the church and just doing great things and dance. And so life has been great. And I had this vision of this business that I wanted to start back in the day. My wife and I found a need because our daughter decided that she didn't like the broccoli that she once loved at dinner. So she was denying it, saying, no, it's yucky. And my wife got creative. So we developed this company called Make Eating Fun. And it was a system that we created for parents and educators to teach children healthy food choices by gamifying this eating process and taking a creative approach to eating healthy. It was going really well and in schools. And so I went all in. I quit my career in 2017 to go all in on Make Eating Fun and follow my entrepreneurial dreams.
Wow.
Yeah, it was amazing. And then a month later, that was November of 2017. And it ended up 3 days before Christmas in 2017, I got diagnosed with stage 4 colorectal cancer. So I quit all that stuff and going in on this new health and wellness company. And I just got diagnosed with one of the world's deadliest diseases. And so I was sidelined. I was crushed. I had, my daughter was 10 at the time. I was 41. I was almost 300 pounds at the time, lost in burger grease and bad habits, alcohol, you name it, not feeding my body right, tons, coffee to get my energy through the day, and then a couple cocktails to get rest at night to rest my mind, and then just a bad diet in between, But anyway, my story goes that I got right into Western medicine, went over to City of Hope, amazing team of doctors there. I love my team of doctors.
Awesome.
I've been through 36 rounds of chemotherapy, 30 rounds of radiation, and I've had major surgeries. One which caused the flamboyant and loud stoma that I have is that I had my rectum and colon removed. I've got a colostomy bag for the rest of my life, where the cancer actually settled. They could not reverse the surgery after that. So, and then they took half my liver and my gallbladder and the lymph nodes. I had 26 tumors at the time of my diagnosis. So fear was definitely residing all over me.
What was the prognosis that they gave you that, will keep you alive for a little while and keep you?
Yeah, they said that they were going to, it was looking like I was going to be on chemo the rest of my life. They didn't know what that timeline was going to look like. I had the doctor that reviewed my scans basically told me that it's possible that I only had months to live. That was the first conversation that I had while I was at dinner after my first diagnosis, which was you got colorectal cancer. Now let's see where else it had spread. So I went in, I did some CT scans and left with my family to go have some dinner because it had been a long day. And I'm sitting there at the restaurant. I got the call, and so I excused myself real quickly without anybody noticing. I'm sitting in there. You can imagine it's like that. It's a Wonderful Life scene where you're looking inside and your whole family's there, but I'm on the phone getting the news that I've got 26 tumors in my body and possibly months to live. And just the floodgates opened up and uncontrollable, man. And then the family started noticing and coming out. And it was just, it was a whirlwind 3 days before Christmas. But by God's grace, he led me and brought a lot of great people around me. We've had massive support from friends and family. I put my story out online, and the love that I put out online and the story that I was sharing brought more people around me, more prayers. I'm a big believer in prayer, and the prayer warriors mounted up and came to my rescue. So over those 2 years, I went through a lot, and like I said, all those rounds of chemo and radiation. Ultimately, I'm cancer free as of the last 2 years. December of 2019 was my last drip of chemo. So the last 2 years I've been virtually cancer free and off of all Western medicine and solely on this lifestyle that I created in the midst of all that storm.
One of the most important things you brought up, what I've helped several people write books over the years and do some other stuff, that what you said about telling people your story and coming out and speaking to an audience of interested people is both therapeutic, I would assume. I know it has been for me to actually kind of just share your heart and your mind so that you may be able to help somebody that's going through the same thing. And on top of it all, now you have the story of survival,
right?
Which God has blessed you with. And how important has God been in that walk for you in sharing your story and then helping other people?
I think it has been the greatest blessing in my life to feel his presence the way that I have through this journey, Andy. There's been some massively, massively dark moments. I had residual disease pop up a couple of times within that time frame that scared everything out of me. And it was God that picked me up off of the floor and continued to show me another way to fuel my body and to fuel my mind and to fuel my spirit to get me back in the game to fight. because having the energy and the willingness to do so comes from that vision and wanting to do it. And so like when you're down, it's tough to get back up. And there's not, I mean, like I said, I have a great support system. I got a lot of family around me. I got a very loving wife. Both my in-laws and my parents are right around us, and amazing support, my sister and everybody, but they weren't going through it. And I didn't have a lot of people that had went through it and were stage 4 and, survived or went through whatever. Like, you go to the hospital every other week and all you see is people walking around like, just waiting to be the next stop at the morgue. And it's not, I'm not trying to be funny with that. That's just the reality. It feels that way at times. So my walk with Christ was everything. He showed me the way.
So I don't want to jump ahead. I do want to get to your products, but you've really hit a chord with me, because I have other friends that have had cancer and have struggled, and some that have passed and some that are still fighting on. You have a ministry that you do on Thursdays with other cancer victims. We call them cancer victims?
I call them cancer warriors. There's
okay,
no patients,
yeah.
There's no victims.
I knew there had to be a different name.
Yeah.
But surely you have people that have questioned their faith and questioned God as to why. Again, when you beat it once and now it comes back again, I would think that's the time you go, all right, God, do you really exist?
Yeah.
Why me? Did you go through that? And how has that helped you with other people that may be going through the same thing?
Well, the good news is I have done that, and I've done that at many stages of my life. And I think that most Christians, if you're breathing and alert to your feelings,
and you're honest,
you go through those seasons. And it's tough to stay in the game in the world that we live in, with so much pushing away from a faithful life. But living a faith-based life is difficult. It's difficult to stay on that track. But the greatest tool is your commitment to yourself. And that's what changed everything for me, is when I stripped everything else down. See, I took on the physical form of cancer, but I also took on the figurative forms of cancer that I had in my life, my addictions to different things like food and alcohol, whatever that was, the different environments that I kept putting myself in, the lies I was telling myself, the way I was showing up for my employers, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. The laundry list was long, but the only way that I can get right and walk in that light of Jesus Christ is to get real with myself. And forgive myself and talk to him about it, and talk to the people that I've affected with those said problems, those said figurative forms of cancer. So I think that, you're always going to question yourself until you are allowed to get real with what you've done to cause that wedge of questioning. Because at the end of the day, he didn't promise us this life to be easy. He promised us eternity through a faithful life of this difficult road that we have here. That's the beautiful part about it. So, I've got a great blessing to work with some pretty special people, in this cancer world. And we talk about these things quite often. Heaven is real. God has promised us that. And that's what keeps us in line. And until that we can get comfortable with that reality,
Yeah. Amen.
Right.
Danielle Curtin says, my brother had his colon removed as well from severe ulcerative colitis. Did I say that right? He has a J pouch now. My niece was recently diagnosed with ulcerative colitis as well. Wow. Do you have any dietary recommendations? We're going to get to that. And that's why I wanted to read that. So step one, build your faith with God. And build your relationship with God.
Right.
Because it's a one-on-one relationship. Yes. Don't get caught up into other people's relationship with God. It's about you and him.
100%.
And then you can change other people's relationship with God. Next step 2. What's step 2?
Step 2 is
overcoming the problems with cancer.
I think once that you see, you're feeding right into my 5 F words, the freedom, baby. I love where you're going. So you got that faith foundation. And once you're right there, you get right with your family and the foundation around you, the people that are supporting you. And not always is family your blood family. I need you guys to understand this. We're brothers in Christ's mind. Like we're from 2 different parts of the world. If you trace our lineages back, but under God's law, we're brothers. We're family. So how you view the people around you is very, very important. And I think that God created us to love one another and get right with one another and support and love your neighbor like they're your family. And so that became number 2, was getting right with people around me, doing the right thing at all times as much as possible. Now, am I perfect? Absolutely not. There's no way, and I'll never will be, but try and do the right thing with your family. So that was number 2. And then, I think it's very important to stay connected and reach out as often as possible. So that's part of it. But the daily process of getting in line with your faith starts there, getting in line with your family, making sure you're representing your family and yourself right, and being good there. And then getting that fuel in. The fuel is so, so important. And that what is going to lead into, some of this topic about, these dietary recommendations. And it wasn't just for cancer where this all came. Like it was built to build a strong immune system to guard from other things that I was going through during that battle, et cetera, et cetera.
All right. Well, where do you want to start with the juice or the CBD?
Let's start with this. Let's start with how it's kind of played out in my life is that it was.
Somebody familiar just popped up there.
Yeah, I know that woman right there. Faith, family, fuel, fitness, focus. That's my wife, Amy. I love you so much, babe. You're the reason why that we've come this far. And you're my fuel to my fire. You
That's
and Aubrey.
Awesome.
So my why just popped up there.
That's awesome. Babe.
But anyway, well, let's take a step back to how things kind of unrolled, because it actually started with my hydration. I had a friend that when I shared my story out there online, he started bringing me 5 gallons of this alkaline water, right? That he just said, hey, I'm going to bring it to you. It's the best stuff that I know of. Just please drink it. And I had just, again, I had bad habits, didn't know much about alkaline water. I was just drinking tap water thinking it's all the same. So I started drinking his water. 4 months went by of this man bringing me water all the time, a gracious, loving friend. And then all of a sudden he stopped bringing it to me. And I started drinking the regular alkaline water from the stores and the things like that. And my energy levels crashed. I started feeling less like a cancer warrior, but more like a cancer patient. And so I was like, wow, this is not fun. This is now where my road is going. But then that friend brought me another delivery of water one day. And within 24 hours, Andy, of me drinking this water, I had all my energy back. And so I started down the journey of why is this happening? So coming to the realization that we're 70% water, our organs are 80 to 90% water. It is the most important substance you could possibly put in your body. And not all water is created equal. In fact, all of our alkaline waters in the marketplace, all the ones that have the fancy marketing and fancy labels are all full of chemicals, and it's not serving our body well. That's why I started turning into that cancer patient. But when I got a living water that is created by a machine that's this enagic machine that creates Kangen water, return to origin is what that means. It's changed my life. It repairs your body at a cellular level. It's loaded with antioxidants. So what I learned is like, this is 16 ounces. One, let's say this was water. That'd be the equivalent in antioxidant powder of eating like 5 pounds of blueberries. So I was like, okay, I had to start figuring out what is this antioxidant thing. And so my whole lifestyle then became a journey of loading my body with antioxidants as much as possible. So it trickled down into juicing and my nutrition.
But it was the research into why this water is working and other waters weren't that led you to the antioxidant.
Exactly. I was studying this water. I was researching it and comparing it to other things. See, we're told in this marketplace that alkaline water is a pH of 9.5, right? That's all over the place. Well, I can create a 9.5 pH with tap water and lemon. I can create 9.5 pH with tap water and baking soda. Well, if you look at the backside of a lot of the alkaline bottles in the store, you're going to find sodium bicarbonate, magnesium bicarbonates, things like that. Those are the chemicals that they're using to create this facade of 9.5. In actuality, what happens when I drink that water, it turns super acidic inside of our body because it's chemically driven. Anytime you're putting stuff chemically driven inside of your body, it's going to turn super acidic. It's going to turn into toxins, which then feeds to disease and cancer and inflammation, obesity, you name it. Look at the problems in America. So anyway, this led my journey to this antioxidant lifestyle because I found out the power of, I drink 2 gallons of this a day. One 12-ounce glass is the equivalent of 4 pounds of blueberries in antioxidant power. So if you calculate that math, imagine the antioxidant power inside of my body. And then you look at the results that I was getting. You look at the energy that I have day in and day out. It's because I'm committed to this lifestyle. I don't veer off the track very often. It's daily juicing, which led to, so the alkaline in here, the antioxidants in here led to what I started doing on the juicing level.
All right, let me go back to the water just for 1 second. And the reason I was kind of smiling and giggling off camera here is because Hedia, the very story that you just told was my story with I was getting alkaline water from Stater Brothers. And I had a friend by the name of Debbie who kept saying, "You got to try my water." And she'd bring me gallons of water. And I go, it's different. There is something different about it. And I could not figure it out. I didn't have the, I wasn't going through what you were going through. But I did have a prostate cancer at the time. Yeah. And so I just want to tell those of you that know that I use Kangen Water myself is that we're not doing this as a commercial for Kangen Water.
Right.
We're doing this because we want to tell people how it is you can live a healthier lifestyle.
Right.
And it's not about the sales of the machine. If you want to know how to get it, contact me, contact Gary. But it's really just about the water and about what you discovered along the way and how it led to the juicing. So I just want to set that in there, because there may be some people, no, there they are, because they know with my CBD products that I was in the pyramid scheme. Right. But that's not why I invited you to my house. That's not why you and I met. It is about how is it that we can help people get better and healthier. So I just wanted to lay that out there because I wanted to make sure that people understood that this was about just getting healthy.
Yes, 100%.
All right. Sorry. Just wanted to put that out there.
No, it's okay. I agree. I think it's important to share the purpose behind the message.
Yep.
Because when I was fighting for my life, Andy, and not very hopeful or had very much optimism coming from the team around me, it was begging and pleading for a second chance at life, praying to God daily. And as part of that prayer, I promised that I would help as many people with the truth that I learned as possible. And ever since those vigorous prayers daily, he showed me the way. He has given me this path. He has put me in line with people, experts. Like I've been in, it's been an incredible journey in the last 4 years. And now being able to lead people in this capacity and teaching people the truth, I think, the success of what's going on behind the HeyerPower wellness products, but also the program and movement behind it. It's all about, let's get healthier together. I want people to know the truth. It's not you. So for example, I was given a diagnosis as a young man to have high cholesterol genetically. Yeah. So I had statins for 20 years of my life. Yeah. You know that I haven't had any statins for the last 3.5 years.
Wow.
It's weird. It's like the genetic disease that I had just went away. Right.
Right.
It's crazy. And so my cancer was
maybe not so genetic.
Maybe it's not so genetic. Maybe it's tied to the diet. Maybe we just got a lazy system that or maybe it's by design. I don't know. But the thing is we're not being led well. We're just being given these Band-Aids and these tools to cover up a problem like cholesterol, when we should be really hammering home, like mandated, celery juice every single day. Let's clean your system out. Yep. Make sure you're cleaning your, we're so worried about the smog in the air. How about the smog in our bodies?
Right.
Well, I guess it's because there's a lot of medications tied to that. But anyway,
I'd like to get to the juice. I know people are really interested in learning more about the nutrition aspect of it. So, So from water to juice.
From water to juice. So, I had residual disease pop in my liver, like we talked about. And at that point, I started searching for ways to cleanse my liver, to cleanse and keep my body clean. Because at the same time of that happening, I had already been on the chemo for about a year and a half at the time. And so the compounding effects of that were massive. So the toxicity in my body was just incredibly difficult to deal with. I won't get into those details, but it was a necessity to figure out a better way of living, because now it was really impeding on my life, and not, I wasn't as active, and et cetera, et cetera. So it came out of a necessity just to do that. And it just was a journey every single day. It led to me juicing. Like, it was 2 hours a day, 2.5 hours a day of just sitting at that juicer, starting my day that way, starting with 16 ounces of celery to flush out all the toxins in my liver and to restart the system, really clean out the colon, and then, set me up right, because my whole problem is down in there, my GI tract.
Yep.
So that was that.
So the celery, though, is the vegetable that has the best chance of doing that effectively.
Yes. 16 ounces specifically on an empty stomach, and you let it marinate for about 30 minutes in your body. That's the secret to the success there. So it's the first thing that hits your body, and you let it just, kind of do its thing for about 30 minutes. At the beginning, it's definitely suggested to stay close to the bathroom.
I had the opposite effect, actually. Okay. Strangely enough, I'm just want to throw that out there. Is that I drank so I love this, by the way. Now that I've been drinking it every day, now I crave it. Cool. But you sent me a little text message with a little poopy emoji. Said, make sure you give yourself some time. But when I drank it, none of that happened. Okay. It was like 3 days later. Then there was something that found a little bit more necessary to go to. I call it the library. Yeah. I went to the library to do some reading. Sometimes the liquid Drano's got to work on a clog a little bit longer than others, Andy. I don't know what to tell you there, buddy. But anyway, all right, I'm glad it's working, and I'm glad that you're enjoying it. And I hope that what you're finding, and what I have found, is that keeping a clean system is directly connected to your brain and directly connected to the way that you think and the energy. The sustainable energy. I've got people, myself included, that were multiple cups of coffee a day, multiple energy drinks in the afternoon, just to keep the flow going throughout the day. I can tell you, and I just want to kind of bounce to my experience with it, is that I believe that there may have been one day I took a nap, but naps became a pretty regular part of the life over the last last 2 years or so, especially fighting a little bit of the cancer. And then I had COVID and some other stuff. And then I had long COVID, is what they're calling it. And I don't believe, now it's possible I took a nap, but I don't believe I even found it necessary or that I wanted to. And so that what you're talking about, that energy level, getting rid of those toxins out of the body, that's your body's not preoccupied with trying to fight off all those toxins, which I'm assuming takes, just sacks your energy. Yeah. But I've not taken a nap since I've been on the juice. Well, I hope that you're enjoying that process. Some people are really connected to their naps. Wink, wink, Amy. But what I'm saying is, like, some people, like having that experience. But listen, you're going to have better sustainable energy through the day, and I'm hoping that you're finding that your rest cycles are a little bit better too. Maybe at the hands of the combination between the products here that you're using on a day-to-day basis. But this homeostasis thing that you mentioned up at the beginning of the conversation is a real deal. And the best way to do that is to really nurture that microbiome and taking care of things at the cellular level, like what we're talking about. Yeah. Oh, for sure. Yeah. Homeostasis is something that I preached and I taught on stage about, just to let people in some cases were going, what was that you said again? And there's a lot of people that just simply aren't aware of what all these systems have a balancing point. And it's really important to try to find that balance between all of those systems, which is homeostasis. A lot of people walk around in this world right now, Andy, and live out of balance, and they've gotten really comfortable being uncomfortable in that space. Yeah. And it's unfortunate because you got a couple of guys that are like, hey, the water's warm, it feels really good, and you're gonna love life. Like, you're gonna be happier, you're gonna have this freedom about you. But people get stuck and like, no, that's not me. I was wired different. And I'm just here to tell you that this whole environment that we create inside of our body by what we process on a day-to-day basis, including what you put into your mind and let you go through your eyeballs, what you're watching online and on TV, et cetera, this changes everything in your life. Yeah. Yeah. I've been told several times I need to not listen to the news so much. But I find that's my education. I do these shows, and maybe there should draw back a little bit. Hearing the same story 10 times a day may not be so healthy. It depends. I mean, it may not be, and as long as it's serving you, and you are in that space. I mean, you're a leader in the community, trying to make a difference out there with the school boards, and which much respect for that, and thank you for what you do on that level. But I think that. It's all part of it. It's all part of it. We really have to control what we're putting into our mind, body, and soul on a day-to-day basis. And that's why our walk with Jesus Christ is so important. Yep. And what we put into our body and taking it back to that, to Jesus and God and how we were created and put into the Garden of Eden. I mean, think back to just, generations ago, not even back 2,000 years, but our bodies weren't designed to have grocery stores full of all of these animal-based products and 36 rows of processed foods. Like, we were dumped in the Garden of Eden, drink some water, eat some fruits and vegetables. And yeah, you'll have some animal, but you got to hunt. Our bodies weren't designed to have breakfast, lunch, and dinner with eggs, cheese, every single part of the animal and mixing them all up. It's yeah, that's interesting that you reminded me of that. To go get the food, we had to actually go out and hike
like move our
2 miles.
bodies. Yeah, like move our, not Uber Eats, bro. They're not
Right.
Ubering you an elk. Okay, you got to go out and actually earn your food.
Yeah.
We're just, you know.
Then you had to build a
great.
fire. You had to do the cooking.
Which is great. Look,
Yeah.
we're here. We got this longer life expectancy. There's all these great things to where we're at now, but to understand the way that we're designed can give you so much more happiness. And let's just face it, everything that's designed now with all these product-driven world, things that we're just filled with as soon as you put your phone in front of your face, it's all designed to disconnect your body internally and your mind internally, and then disconnect you everything. So get a foundation. When you're faced against a deadly disease, I'm just telling you from a cancer warrior that survived the deadly disease, when the brass tacks came down to it, and it was like you're fighting for your life, bud, everything else doesn't matter. Control what you put into your mind and your heart, and then focus in on the things that feed your soul good things. And when you do that on a day-to-day basis, the compound interest of that investment is phenomenal.
Awesome.
It's phenomenal. And I'm living that proof right now.
Yeah, I'm enjoying this. I hope everybody else is enjoying this, bringing it all together and giving the examples of why this is important. So you move from the celery to then this elixir.
Yeah.
And that is, so this is taken in the morning.
Yeah.
When you get up, and then later on in the afternoon, you take
the Signature Superpower.
Signature Superpower.
So the Signature Superpower, this thing is quite amazing. It's got 17 superfoods in it. It started out as a ginger shot. You know, I was a rookie in the juicing space when two and a half years ago, and just doing my celery in a ginger shot. And that just kept transforming and evolving into the more research that my wife and I did into this plant-based lifestyle, the Truth About Cancer series by Ty and Charlene. It's an incredible documentary that exposes a lot of truth on how our body's designed to heal itself. It's crazy that it actually can do that with a lot of the things that God put on this earth for us to utilize. So I learned a lot, and this right here has everything. It's just designed to build an incredible immune system. It's designed to keep your vitamin intake. It's like, I find that my body is completely satisfied on the fuel I put in my body, whereas before I was more concerned about the food that I was putting in my body, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
So this is an incredible drink. The two of them together is the lifestyle. So two juices a day is where we're at. I don't, the whole juice cleanse thing, it's a great trend. Like, that's cool. You'll poop for a week and then you'll be good and you'll go back to your bad habits and have more to poop for a week. I would just like to get that detox done and then create a healthy lifestyle for you to always drink 2 juices a day, these specifically because they're designed to be a powerhouse for your health, and put them in your life, and you'll get better results. You'll feel better. You'll have better energy. You just might fight viruses a little stronger. My wife had COVID, and for 2 weeks I took care of her. I haven't got any of that. I think I got the antibodies or whatever. Maybe I'm just fueled right. I don't know, but I've been feeling fantastic through life.
What's interesting is, now I've done intermittent fasting for quite a while, and so it's not unusual for me not to have breakfast. But I have found, since I've been drinking the celery in the morning and then the Signature Superpower for essentially lunch, really, I've only eaten dinner. Now, I don't know if that's okay, but that seems to be good enough for my body. That's what my body tells me. That I don't have any hunger pangs. I don't have headaches. I don't have anything since I've been using these 2 products for breakfast and essentially lunch.
Yeah.
Does that sound okay? Or
yes, 100%. It's what happened in my life. It's what happens in a lot of my clients' life. I've got a lot of clients, Andy, that are not fighting cancer. In fact, majority of my client base at HeyerPower Wellness is people just fighting life in general, just busy people that don't have
almost worse than cancer.
Almost worse than cancer sometimes, because your perspectives are different. But these 2 juices have now kept people very productive in their life, but just implementing those things, now they're getting better results. Again, better energy throughout the day. They're healthier. They're staying in the game. We're all $1 million machines when you look at our life and what we produce in life. And if you're not taking care of the most important vessel and production machine on the planet, which is in your world, which is you're going to end up fighting for your life like I had to. I wish I would have learned this years ago when I was a college athlete. I would probably have different story.
So just on a day-to-day basis, you're not suggesting this to be the only 2 things somebody can live on. So is there some, again, maybe back to Danielle's question about nutrition, when you're going through what you were going through? I would imagine that's different than what you do now as a regimen. But is it much different?
It's similar but different. it took a progression to get to where I'm at now. I wish I'd have known in the middle of that storm while I was figuring out that I knew more, but everything happens for a reason.
So just saying, when you're on the chemotherapy,
Yeah.
or when you're going through the chemotherapy, what can you do in addition to these juices to assist the healing process and ridding yourself of cancer without offending the FDA?
You got to be real
process.
careful about that. I'll tell you what I did, and then we'll go from there. It was heavy intake on the juicing. It was an extreme heavy intake on good foods, like all plant-based foods. Things that have proteins. We talk about plant-based protein a little bit off the camera earlier. Lentils, mung beans is really high in protein. There's different sources, and I'm putting together a program right now. I'm developing all kinds of sources to share. I'm going to do a recipe along with this 30-day program that I'm building. But it's loading your body with good food when your body needs it. Especially in a cancer fight, your body needs a lot of fuel. It burns things faster. The chemo's in there burning, everything in sight. It's a vicious drug. So you gotta load your body up with good nutrients. All the right vitamins. These juices do that, and then you're loading all the fibrous salads and the different broccolis and cauliflowers, etc. But I would also say cannabis is huge. I mean, let's just talk about that real quick. The CBD game, the whole entry into the cannabis space, and understanding what that could do for your body. You have to understand that the herbal side of plant-based nutrition is very, very important to the whole formula. Mm-hmm. And so, I learned a lot about that and the implementation of actually taking leaves and the plant itself and juicing it and eating it in my recipes, putting it on my salads, putting it on my tacos, my plant-based tacos, etc. Putting the actual plant in there and eating it like a real vegetable. That changed my life, and it's helping a lot of other people too.
Okay. Well, we'll go there then. We got, so the years that I was studying CBD and then wrote a couple books on it and was trying to find out as much as possible. There were some differences. And so when I was talking about it, it wasn't, in the fight against cancer or if you had cancer, what you need to do. The CBD that I was dealing with had quite often had no THC or very little. Okay. And so, I just want to, those people that know me or have watched this and see me talk about it, in those days when I was first going through, because I was dealing with law enforcement officers that wanted to take CBD and military who wanted to take CBD, and they were banned from both those jobs of testing positive for THC. Okay. So these are the products that were available at the time. And the one was that I was, and still a part of essentially is called Vaseo. And it doesn't show up in any test because there is no THC. And it's been tested and tested and tested. So I want to now come into your world where THC is something that you find necessary or important in your formulation for CBD. So I just didn't want there to be any confusion, because I know back in the day, I was talking a lot about not having THC because of the people. I mean, I had FedEx drivers, all type of teachers that didn't want to take CBD because of that concern. And then you have people that have the faith like we do, right? That are concerned about intoxication and debauchery. And how does that all work when it comes to that? So can you address that so that, people can understand why it is a godly man is supporting something like CBD that has THC? Does that make sense?
Yeah. Okay. Most definitely. I get this question often, and, I am a believer. I am a Christian, and I lead within the church. I have a faith-based ministry for cancer warriors. And so it's very important that I represent God the right way. So God created a divine system inside of our body called an endocannabinoid system. And you know this, but for our viewers, this endocannabinoid system takes cannabinoids that our body actually gets or has been known to get from vegetables and some insects, et cetera, in nature that have these cannabinoids. But God created a plant called cannabis that has 150 different cannabinoids that are used as fuel inside of our body that goes into these receptors called CB1 and CB2 receptors. They reside throughout our body, and the way that you feed these receptors in different ways of introducing these cannabinoids to your body can be hugely beneficial. So just stripping it down to this, God created us. I believe that, right? If we're talking about the Christian faith here, we believe that God created this body. He created a divine system, and he created an herb, a vegetable per se. I mean, we said earlier, don't look at this thing like a drug. Look at it like a vegetable. He created it, and it is used as fuel. So understanding the right way to use it. And yes, there is, a psychotropic side to cannabis in THC in its Delta 9 state. But there is also THC in its acid form, which is something that we need to understand, because THC in its acid form is non-activated, if you will. It doesn't have the psychotropic effect to it, but it's hugely beneficial in the cancer fight arena. It actually has been known, and I don't have these studies myself. I've actually done some research and found the studies myself, but I didn't do them myself. I'm not a scientist, nor am I putting my neck on the line here, but it's been known that THCA has been the cannabinoid that actually wraps itself around cancer cells and can stop them in their tracks and even reduce them. So I load my body with cannabinoids on a daily basis, and I believe that the entire plant is important. It's been known that THC is the carrying agent and boosting agent to all the miraculous benefits that CBD is getting accolades for in the marketplace. Again, we get stripped down versions of the truth in media and the things that we're finding online. So I have been taught by industry experts, people that have been working with the cannabis plant for their entire lives and have devoted their life's work to this plant, understanding it, on how to grow it and extract it, et cetera, et cetera. So my camp is real strong, and they've taught me the right way. And I believe that God created this plant for us to thrive off of, but that we have a big, huge system that started about 100 years ago, just putting a bunch of propaganda against this plant and demonizing it because they needed to make a bunch of synthetic things to address it. I mean, I had 25 prescription drugs, Andy, in the middle of my fight. 25 prescription drugs that they were putting in my body, addressing all the different side effects, and then the side effects from those side effects, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera.
Yep.
And it created a vicious storm inside of my body. It created brain fog. It created pain. It caused my whole system to seize up. It was interacting in those animal-based products when I was still eating that way, creating so much toxicity. And this plant got me off of 25 prescription drugs, and I live a very healthy and happy life. I don't live intoxicated,
right?
And what I'm able to do now, I've been doing this now for 4 years, again, led by great people that make our products with love. We have products that work, and I teach people right where they're at, where their comfort levels at, whether or not they've ever had any bit of cannabis or hemp in their body at all. I can microdose all this stuff in a way to nurture the body and build up a system inside that receives it well and puts it to work for what it's supposed to do.
Awesome. I think you did a great job. Again, the biggest hurdle I had when I got into CBD, number one, that I was a law enforcement officer when I got into it.
Yeah.
Right. And they're going, and they're looking at my logo, which appears to be a marijuana plant, which in case it's a hemp leaf. And I try to make the best, argument for it's a hemp, it's not marijuana. But now coming into yours, which has a more THC than the type of product that I was selling, I just think it's important for people to understand it from your perspective. Yes. And I thought you did a really good job.
Now, let me just real quick, didn't mean to interrupt you, but these products, these CBD products don't have a higher THC level than a hemp full spectrum product.
Okay.
There's regulations of 0.3% or less in a CBD product,
right, that
has to be there. So all of our CBD products meet those standards. In fact, they're always tested to the highest standards. I have other products that have heavier THC content in them that I have access to, that I help people with, because I know the truth, and people want the truth. And when you're fighting for your life and you understand these things and you want them, I want you to have the best, because at the dispensary, you don't know what you're going to get. You don't know who made it, who extracted it, who bottled it. And usually the people that are selling it at these places don't know as much as somebody like myself that has actually used it in my life to fight for my life.
That's awesome. It was important to go through the differences, and the products that we're going through now meet that lower standard. The other interesting thing is I'm remembering these things are coming back to my mind, is that there's there would be people that would argue with me that I can't take that because it has this, this THC in it. And I said, what do you take for pain now? Well, they either take Oxycontin or they take something else. And you go, okay, but you don't mind taking that.
Right.
Because what God obviously does not, what the Bible says, that we cannot become intoxicated where we're like acting like maniacs and lunatics. When we're taking something for medicinal purposes, it's for the medicinal purpose and not for getting high. And that's really the important. What's the purpose for what it is you're taking? And are you conscious of what level of the THC level, what's the purpose?
What's the purpose?
It's the healing.
And it's the healing, but it's also the effect on the body and the mind. And so what you're looking at is a natural thing that was created in Earth, and compared to this supplement, this synthetic drug that is very addictive, that leads to other things, that is a vicious cycle. But we put all this ownership on what our doctors are saying. Now, look, I said I love my doctors. I wouldn't be here without my team of doctors. I had 7 surgeons working on me for 11 hours. I love my team. I have family and friends that are doctors. I love all of you. But we need to understand that, prescription drugs are not the only way. If I go to a doctor, more times than not, I'm hearing people getting these grave diagnoses. And if I'm poo-pooing all this other stuff about nutrition and hydration, et cetera, supplements, but it's all about these drugs. And they're very addictive. Look at the opioid epidemic. I had, again, 25 prescriptions, and probably half of them were opiates, and it creates, and like you're literally hooked on them for a long time. It's a very dangerous situation.
Yeah. That's just so. I'm taking Vicodin, but I can't take your CBD because it has THC. Okay.
Right. We're not going to be able to, talk to everybody and convince everybody. I get it. It is what it is. But,
I'm sorry. I'm just having those flashbacks to the
all
thing.
Good.
All right. Let's talk about each one of the products that you have today. Which one do you want to start with?
Well, you just picked up the Wake. So we've got, basically, let's talk about this. We've got the Cbd Trio. So this is a trio of Cbd that we use morning, noon, and night. Basically, one eyedropper of each a day will get you about 30 to 35 milligrams of CBD, which we have found to be a perfect dose for the average adult. So the Wake has a Garcia gambosia extract added to it. Garcia gambosia has been known for the weight loss and stuff like that, but what it hasn't been so popular for is its ability to boost serotonin levels. And that's why we did it. We want to, get you in a good mood to start your day and get a good dose of CBD. And then we've got our Boost. Our Boost has got a vitamin B12 that's added to that. Again, nice energy boost in the middle of the day, helps with the blood and all that stuff. And then also the melatonin in our Calm. Our Calm has been a great formula for a lot of people. In fact, I have some people just come to me for this that have been having sleeping problems. But I'll tell you, the best way to go about CBD is to get about 30 milligrams in on a minimum on a daily basis, and take a little journey with us with the HeyerPower Wellness Trio. It's been great, and a lot of people love it. So full spectrum CBD, the THC limit on that is negligible. It comes up on the report as a little dash. There's not even a number on it, so it's way less than the 0.3%. Very, very safe product. My 14-year-old daughter takes them, loves them.
Yep, I give them to my kids.
Product.
Over the years, I've given them for different, things that they were going through.
Yeah.
And they seem to really enjoy them, and not enjoy them in the way that everybody would think that they're enjoying them.
No,
it's especially anxiety and depression.
Yeah.
As a police officer, I was in a couple shootings, and some children died that I was trying to save, and a couple car crashes that knocked my melon, caused anxiety and depression and PTSD. It was a very painful period of time in my life. I remember, being at the office on 3 different occasions, and would go up into my office and shut the door, and I thought I was going to die. I thought I was dying. And then I would just drive myself to the emergency room and said, what are you here for? I said, I'm dying. I can't, my heart's pounding. I just feel like I'm dying. And they'd say, you're having an anxiety attack. And I go, no, I am dying. And I would argue with them. But it was a painful period of time. Once I started, for me, coincidentally, I can't tell you that the CBD is what cured me, but I can tell you that's the only thing I changed in my life. I started adding CBD to my diet on a regular basis, and I've not had the anxiety or depression since then.
That's amazing.
I also got closer to God. So I would say that, with the hand of God on me, and at the same time I was taking the CBD, it appeared to be one of those things that since I added it, it seems to have been a benefit.
Yeah.
So hopefully I've gotten around the sensors with that story.
Yeah.
But nothing else changed. I didn't
Yeah.
change my diet. I didn't change anything else I was doing. And I was still there's probably a lot of things I could have changed at the time, but I wanted to see if I only changed this, what would happen. And I've not had to take myself to the emergency room since.
That's amazing.
And so it's been very helpful for my life. So and that's why I ended up writing a book on it and doing some other stuff with it, because it really did seem to make a huge difference in my life, and began making a difference to some people that came back from Afghanistan and Iraq who had PTSD, and were taking one guest that I had on my show. She had a trash bag full of medication that she used to take until she started using CBD as a dietary supplement. Yeah. And she goes, I've not had to take any of these pills anymore. And it was like a little trash bag of pills.
Amazing. Look at that, you guys. I'm telling you, that's major. There's so many people dealing with anxiety and those types of PTSD. Yep. Man. And it's a natural ingredient that you can just add to your life and get some benefit.
So when people go to HeyerPowerWellness.com,
HeyerPowerWellness.com. I got HeyerPower.net that it all started as,
The link is in the description. So to get a hold of Gary, you're going to go there. But if they go there, can they contact you? Do you have a program that you can help somebody through some of these other, more detailed nutritional?
I'd like to, I'll spend a second kind of like trying to sum that up, because I'm working on some things right now that's going to be really, really special. And I'm in the middle of this Cancer Warrior gift program that I'm really proud of. So you can go to HeyerPowerWellness.com and visit our site there. I'm very easily reachable. You can find me at HeyerPower Wellness on Instagram. You can find me on Facebook. So please reach out at any level if you have any questions or need any guidance. We have great products, so you can find them there. The Cancer Warrior Support Group, I want to talk about that for a minute, because it's multiple levels. We got the Cancer Warrior Support Ministry at Crosspoint Church in Anaheim. Pastor Brian Moore has been amazing. They support me and gave me this space to be able to lead other cancer warriors in the fight for their life, being led by somebody that's done it in their own. So that's been amazing. And so if you're here local in Southern California and you're fighting cancer and you'd like to latch on with a group of people that are fighting together and supporting one another in a great way, and leaning in a faith-based environment, that's there. On the website, though, at HeyerPowerWellness.com, if you're fighting cancer, I'd love to get to know you. You can enter your information at the bottom of the homepage, and you'll find that what we've done is we put together these Cancer Warrior. You can see right there as you're scrolling, if you go up a little bit more, right there, you can see Warrior gift packages. So those right there, we've got an opportunity for people that have had a little abundance in their life, that want to help people that are fighting for their life. They can go on here and buy these packages, and we put that to work, and we give them to people across the country that are fighting against cancer, that are having the financial burden and the side effects of that on a cancer battle. So we developed these packages to be able to help fund a little bit in the way of giving back to these people that are suffering. We put a portion of our proceeds towards it. So if you're getting healthy for yourself and buying products for yourself, like you could buy this lifestyle program and get massive benefit for yourself, and a portion of those proceeds goes to help people fighting for their life. We got this Warrior gift pack that we're doing here, and I'm all in. This is what I've been kind of given in life here by God, is this path that I'm on with Higher Power Wellness and everything that it represents. I'm just really proud of what it is, man. I've put my heart on my sleeve. I put everything out there because I truly, truly believe in it. I believe what I got was a major part of saving my life. And I believe it's a major part of saving other people too. It's not that I'm any savior by any means. This was all designed by God, and He's laid the path for me. But all these things that we're just talking about, the juices, the water, the oils, He gave it to us. It's just, I'm bringing you the truth about how you could fuel your body and your mind a little bit differently to get way better results in life.
That is awesome.
Yeah.
So in the comments, I put the link to the Warrior pack that you can go to, and then I put the link to the right to the homepage.
Amazing.
So find those. There was an error on one of them, but you should find those in the comments. You should be able to easily click on it. If you don't see it, you're watching the replay, maybe on Twitter, which doesn't always show more than just the video itself. Then just go to HeyerPowerWellness.com, HeyerPowerWellness.com, and Heyer is spelled H-E-Y-E-R, H-E-Y-E-R, which is Gary's last name, which is God gave you that last name for the website.
I think I'm still here for a reason. I think that this all was all in the plan. I don't know, but it had to come at the hands of a cancer battle. And if that's not you, I strongly suggest don't wait to learn about this stuff when health hits you in the face, because it's a lot easier to invest on the front end than it is to have to scramble and fight for your life on the back end of something like that. So.
And that's one of the important things that I try to tell people is that you have people like Gary who went through it all, did all the research, did all the, you did it right probably after doing it wrong, 10, 15, 20, 30 times. And then you try something else and you finally get it right. You get the formulation right. And now you know how to do it properly. It just doesn't make sense for somebody to say, you know what, I understand what he's saying, but I'm going to do this myself, to save a little money. Right. What you're, and not that it's that expensive, but just that, why not save yourself all the grief and do something that's already been done for you and
I'll tell you this, man, if I told you that $20 a day would change your life forever, I guarantee you can find $20 a day. Yeah. Guarantee it. And I can show, and I'll put this product and program, these products and this program in your life. I will lead you personally for $20 a day. People spend $20 a day on a couple coffees and a cocktail on the way home or something like or the fast food. It's just crazy. But you change where you're putting that money, and you put it into something that's going to serve you rather than you serve it. Your life changes forever. It's incredible.
Yeah, Henry and I, we'll get a couple lattes in the morning. What is that costing us now? 10 something, 11 something? Yeah, it's like $10.
Yeah.
And so for half, just for the program that you're talking about, that's going to change your life, give you so much energy, you can get more done.
Yeah.
It's crazy that you wouldn't take that bet.
So I'm building a 30-day program right now, Andy, that I'm really excited about. I'm hoping to have it ready for the launch in the beginning of 2022. It'll be a 30-day program, all the accountability built around this whole lifestyle, the 5 F's, the faith, the family, the focus, the fuel, the fitness, all that stuff. And we're going to give you a program. You give me 30 days of your commitment and work with me on this type of lifestyle, and I guarantee your life will change forever. Because 30 days is just enough time for me to change some habits and put some good fuel and some good concepts into your mind that will transform the way that you think and show
Now, when you
up.
say guarantee, are you using that as a description, or do you guarantee?
No, I'm using that as a description, but I mean, at the end of the,
I just want to make sure, because people say, hey, you said a guarantee.
I don't have a money back guarantee. I mean, I'm using live products here. This stuff, at the end of the day, there's so many products out there that people are investing into. I mean, look at the Nectar line and these places, these establishments. If you're buying a couple of juices or a smoothie and a bowl from them, you're spending $20.
Yep.
You spend $20 with me, you got something that is handcrafted. I made it in the fight for my life. I got 17 there's nothing on the planet like these products. And you're supporting a man that's been fighting for his life, and you're supporting other people, because I'm putting the profits right back into other people that are fighting for their life. I'm all in.
Awesome.
I'm all in. God's a CEO, and I'm just following his path.
There's no better CEO.
That's right.
I just want to bring up what your wife said here, just to see if there's something else that we want to visit here. And she says, I remember you, Gary, working out, running and golfing with a chemo pump on and needle in your chest. You had more energy than you had even before the cancer diagnosis. Pretty crazy what the right fuel can do.
Amen to that. Like I said, but when I was diagnosed, I was, almost 300 pounds, soaking wet in burger grease and bad habits. And as a result of that, I had incredible inflammation. I played 4 years of college sports, so I had all this scar tissue around my knee. I was being told I have to have this, reconstructive knee surgery and put a new fake knee in there if I was ever going to want to do. All this stuff changed as a result of the fuel that I put into my body in the way of what I'm feeding myself and these drinks and food. but also what I'm feeding my mind, Andy. It's so important, this whole thing that we've got going on around us, all these distractions, all this information that's coming at us that, you know, most of the time isn't even true. It's just causing so much bad energy, and the lies around food and the lies around all this stuff, medicine and everything. If we can just clear it out and do some of our own homework, like as if your life is really on the line. You know what I'm saying? Like as if like you're really going to die, because newsflash, everybody will. It's just, what do you do with your time while you're here? I'm done wasting my time. I wasted my time for 41 years. You know what I mean? Even when I was at my primo shape at college at Hawaii Pacific and Biola University, playing at the highest level I could possibly do, I was after practice going to Jack in the Box and Big Mac, you know, all the different stuff.
Right.
And those habits so be your own self advocate. Do some homework. Find out the truth about how we should be feeling our body, and then do it. And if it's too much, follow my lead. Jump on board. HeyerPowerWellness.com right now. Change your life. 30 days. Give me 30 days. I'll change your life.
That's it. That's it. I don't want to ruin that. That was awesome.
That was it right there. Oh,
way to go. Okay, go to the link is in the comments. Like I said, if you don't find it for whatever reason, just comment or send me a private message. We'll make sure and get it to Gary, or get to the URL, but we'll make sure that Gary gets any questions you have. That was my point, is that if you have any questions and you can't find Gary on Facebook page or on the website, message me and I will make sure that Gary gets that message. It's safer if you can find him. But
I'm easily found.
I'm the last choice. But
I put myself out there and I don't hide. If you want to find me, you can definitely find me. Social media, right here, you got it.
Yeah.
So.
I want to thank you for putting up, because what you guys don't see is sometimes I'm down here looking up stuff and scrolling, and I know that's very distracting. You did a good job.
Hey,
you just kept on right on rolling. But I was looking for some old presentations and websites and things like that. So thank you for putting up with my research in the middle of our show. I appreciate that very much. All right, my friends. Thank you, all of you that were watching. You guys were very quiet. I could see there was a lot of people watching. But if you do have any questions or comments after we sign off, we can still see them even in the replay. So make sure and post them there in a comment. Again, thank you, Gary. It's great to have you as a neighbor.
Appreciate you, brother.
Did you get that tree off your house?
I did.
Oh, good.
I did. And it's two twins that were just as threatening. Another big story.
Tree fell on his house on Thanksgiving.
What did I say? God didn't promise us an easy path, brother. He just promised us eternity. So we'll take our lumps and we'll just be thankful along the way.
Absolutely. All right, my friends. Love you guys. God bless. Take care.